We've just been out, well, yesterday now. We just popped out to go and get, spent a whole day going out getting pick-up shots that I mentioned in the edit earlier as something we were really lacking in the piece. Gone found somewhere as similarly as we could get, basically, to the original location where we shot, because the issue there was it was obviously quite a distance away. It was about an hour-long drive to get to location, and due to budgetary constraints and stuff like that, we had to make do with somewhere in walking distance. But in the end, that hasn't turned out to be much of a problem. It's been shots that all look really nice. We got a chance to. That was kind of my kind of aim with the shots that I was picking anyway, was to try and keep things, make things quite interesting in terms of getting something that looks quite, I guess, symbolic for the way the piece is, like some, I guess you could say, kind of extended metaphors within the actual project itself, which was after something I'd read. It was an interview with the director Joss Whedon, who's done the latest Avengers movie and Cabin in the Woods and stuff like that. He was talking about the TV show he did, Firefly, and how there's two shots in that, two that I gave it another watch recently, the episode he was talking about. There's two short 5-second shots in that which he was saying completely sum up everything you need to know about the TV series, which is Firefly's kind of, it's a sort of space western thing. And one of the shots he was talking about is there's a bar fight, and one of the main characters, he gets chucked through a what looks like a glass window out of the bar into the street, but it's in fact a hologram. And it's kind of, that kind of idea really captivated and interested me, like that you can that within trying to get a shot that within 5 seconds completely completely encapsulates what you want from the project, what you want the viewer to take away from the project. I mean, so yeah. That being said, we took a few really interesting shots. Like there was one we became really lucky and found a bit of raised ground, burnt to presumably let through new growth and stuff like that. But it looked as if it was fairly recent. So all the branches were crusted black with ash and things like that, and we got all kinds of interesting shots with it. But what I'll show you after, pretty much within this same video, is I did take some short bits of video footage on my iPhone of because Alex was doing camera work that day and I was kind of helping out with picking shots and stuff. I took some documentation stuff, so what I'll do is I'll add onto this video that footage that I took that day and lace it together with footage with the cutaway shots that Madge took, so you can see how the shot's being taken, what the shot actually shows on the final part of it. So yeah, that will be coming on now.
There you go, that's that. Can you get one through the treetops? Action. Cut.
Just get 30 seconds. 10. You actually filming it, or? Sweet. Another thing I forgot to mention regarding the cutaways is we'd had it was something that I was racking my brains trying to figure out, because we'd had one of the scenes in which where we'd scripted, there's kind of a monologue where Eli kind of explains to Izzy kind of what the trials are and stuff like that. And what we found after reviewing the footage and stuff during the edit was just the scene didn't quite gel. There was something missing from it. It was just came across as quite dull, really. It was just quite sort of boring, quite jilted conversation, and what we'd intended for it essentially hadn't came through. That was, I think, in part due to like a number of things. Really, it was we'd shot that scene very much at the end of the day, and it was kind of everyone was kind of on the end of their tether and stuff like that. So having problems with kind of record like the actors remembering the lines for that part. And I don't think personally that I did a particularly good job of writing that scene in comparison to the others. I think that was the one that was most lacking. I think in the fact that it was such a difficult scene to write as well, because what we required from it was to get this real sort of intensity up and things like that. And I think we sort of grossly overestimated that particular part of the script. So it was coming towards the end of the day on one of the days we were editing, and I was thinking the thing that would work really well to kind of make that scene slightly more interesting is to add in some point of view shots, which I'll probably just refer to as POV from now on, just to kind of keep things moving quickly. But yeah, just kind of a sort of POV shot from the troll's vision, with sort of this really horrible breathing and like sort of frightening, very frantic noises and stuff like that, to really sort of kind of pump up the tension fairly early on in the piece, because currently there's not a lot in terms of the way things are paced. It doesn't really follow much of a it's not currently as well paced as I would have liked it to be. So I think what we're going to do is, because it's quite easy to film POV stuff for the trial, the way we did it on shoot for the final battle scene is we basically held up the DSLR on the end of a tripod, tilted the lens down a bit so it was pointing more towards the ground, and just basically walked along with it and stuff. So we did the same thing when we were doing the cutaways and things like that. And what we're going to do is, once we've got the Foley art together, which is the stuff that I'm doing, it'll hopefully really kind of add something fairly like earlier on in the piece, and kind of without having to go out and reshoot things with the actors and stuff like that, and maybe adding in an earlier scene with the troll or something. This is it's a nice and indeed efficient way that we can kind of get things to where we want them to be earlier on, and really draw in the viewers before things are before things go otherwise. And I'll pop in a little bit of footage now after this to kind of just show how we did it. It's only it's Madge standing there with the camera attached to the tripod, and I'll pop in a little bit of the footage too, just to show you how it was done and the effect that you get at the end of it. So yep.
Hey Morgan. Stop. Still recording. Gonna go again.